Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Hey Killshot, Spitfire, Nina, Caroline, Jude, AT. Scrolling back up here. Welcome, Nina. Thank you for becoming a member. I still cannot believe Richard Gadd played himself in the series and wonder he performed the role so well. And the lady wants to sue. I know, this is crazy. I did get your email, Zane. Thank you. I know we likely won't have a big turnout because it's not based around what we normally base around, but I felt like this was such a good series that it needed to be talked about. Oh, you don't have it, Ronnie? It was seriously a fantastic show. And then the fact that it was real and all these things took place. And I think we know many Marthas ourselves, and it's scary. Hey, RC, Crafton with D. Jude, Kathy, Damaris, good morning, Pointer Lover. Hey, Carlos. It's good to see all of you. So I'm guessing based off my poll, a lot of people did not watch the series. And that sucks because it was seriously so good. It was such a great series. I know the first episode is hard to get through and but as soon as you get through the basis of it and you realize what's taking place, I just cannot speak highly enough about it. Scary to think those type of things do happen. Now we're supposed to have CJ come up. So we'll wait and see if we see her. Hey, Solo. It is so crazy. You finished it yesterday. Hey, Grandma Sherry. I was actually going to, I started watching it again because I did like binge watch. But, I'll tell you, I heard it's even crazier the second time around. And now we have the actual Martha coming out. Hold on. And let me tell you, she is the Martha. And you can just absolutely tell by her text, by her tweets, by her Facebook. It was a freaking great show. I've been watching one day. So did I, CC. Hey, Mrs. L. Miss L. Hey, Kathy. So let me first start with pulling up. Like I said, we are waiting to see. We're supposed to have a guest, but give me 1 second. How's everybody doing today? While we get this together. Okay, so put a 1 in the chat if you did see it. Hey, Summer. Hey, Ginger. Hey, Stalo. It was an emotional roller coaster. It was so brilliantly executed. It made you feel for every character. And that's like hard to do with these type of shows. Hey, Billy. I didn't see you. Hey, Julie's. Hey, Oki. Marianne. Okay, so quite a few of you have seen it. I would think if you're here with us today, you saw it, but I understand if you didn't see it and you still want to listen, I'll try not to ruin anything and just go off the basis of it. If you could, I did send her a message, but yeah, you didn't get a chance. Good morning, Roddy. Roro, it was a great series. And the second time around, knowing what you know, it makes it all that better. I'm going to be so lost. I feel like you're always lost, friend, and that's okay. We are here for you. You didn't see it either? Okay, that's all right. So basically, the basis of it is the actor, Richard Gadd, is retelling an actual story that he lived through, a crazy story. Oh my God, it's fantastically worth it. Worth every second of it. Crime Brulee watched it. What'd you think? So I'll go over to this article and basically let them speak on what the real story was so I don't mess any of it up. So Netflix new miniseries, and by the way, things are looking. We may have a part 2, okay? Because she's crazy. Hey, Candace. It unravels Scottish comedian Richard Gadd's experience with a stalker in his 20s. And now the woman that he is telling this story about is threatening legal action. And I'll get over to that in just a minute. So Baby Reindeer, which began as a one-man show at the Edinburgh Fringe, Stars Gad as his fictionalized version of himself named Donnie Dunn, a struggling comedian bartender stalked by a woman named Martha. The pair first crossed paths when Donnie served a lonely woman a free cup of tea at the bar where he worked. And that one act of kindness changes Donnie's life forever because the next 3 years, Martha stalks him. So Martha actually sends over 41,000 emails, hundreds of hours of worth of voice messages, but it's not your conventional stalker storyline. And this is where I won't get further because it may ruin some things, but it's not your like, it is just so hard to explain how it even was because it was crazy. So it is based on a true story. Over 4.5 years, the woman sent 41,071 emails, 350 hours worth of voicemails, 744 tweets, 46 Facebook messages, 106 pages of letters, and a bunch of weird gifts, including a reindeer toy, sleeping pills, a woolly hat, and boxer shorts. She obsessively stalks him outside of his home, workplace, on stage, begins harassing his family members. It's a whole thing. Well, chicken feet, isn't that how we always end up in situations because we have empathy towards people, you know? Yeah, there's that's being handled, dots and stay low, so I won't be addressing it, but it is being handled. So you guys ready to see the real Martha? She's wilding out over here. I saw this online stream, and I don't know if it's the same story, though. So this is the actual Fiona. This is Martha. Since the series, she has not stopped tweeting. It is all the time. Right? They all do that, Kathy, don't they? They all do that. Hey, Savannah. So this is Martha's Facebook. And of course, her name's not Martha. 14 hours ago, Gad is a very manipulative man. And what's great about all of this is she actually spells the same way he depicted in the series, making it even more crazy. This is why I think we may get a part 2. 1, he was obsessed with being famous. 2, never told police about the art, being hard. Look how she spells. I do understand it's hard, but if you were drugged, that is a big, big crime. He did not stop it from happening to other men, especially his field of showbiz. This is what makes me uneasy, more than any 50,000 messages. You were drugged and you were concerned, obviously, about me. So see how she spells and writes? Let me see if I can make it bigger. The woman is crazy. Check that out. Okay, check that out. Yeah, and he tells the whole storyline, and I don't believe for 1 minute he used this to get famous. I think he took the worst of his life circumstances and made it into what it is, and he did it brilliantly. All the credit goes to him. Oh, I watched it. I'm actually on my 2nd time. So this was 14 hours ago. 2 days ago, this is where she goes on and on. Little wee druggy Gad, poor old me, who's in fact a druggie. Why didn't this wee sad man with all his trauma go to the police and report his rapist? Instead, he fueled all his anger towards me. I love the misspelling because that is how the show shows it. He's so full of freaking horse shit, and this Lorraine over the hill who looks 90 holding on for dear breath. Keep my freaking name out of your last leg's mouth. She's knocking on Grim Reaper's door. Give up your seat for another presenter. You passed your cell by Haggis date. And whoever used this overweight fat woman to play me, who I may add, I look younger and I'm 58, needs to stop typecasting your shit. Oh yes, it's Gad who cast this shitcom. I forgot. So here's the actress that played her, and she did fantastic. She literally looks like her.
Head of someone like that. You know, that must have been amazing as an actress to do that because she's so complicated.
Yeah. Well, like I say, it was all my kind of clues for the character were really genuinely in Richard's script. I think he's managed to capture so many sides to her, and it's so nuanced. And like you were saying, it's not a villain and victim storyline. I think you're left with a lot more than that. It's kind of two lost people who.
That's exactly what it is. It has a way of making you feel bad for Martha and also feeling bad for Donnie, aka Richard. It's so well done. We're waiting for our friend CJ if she could come on, CJ.
Find each other at a time in their life where they, in a way, both needed each other, and that just sprung off the page as soon as I read it. Yeah,
no, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, you must have a huge reaction, because something like this, where you're talking about relationships, you're talking about mental health, you're talking about all of these things, and it does get very dark. It does get very, very dark.
Yeah.
But actually, you must be getting people saying, "Thank you, you've helped me."
Yes.
You know, because I thought I was the.
And it did. He helped a lot of people. He helped a lot of, there's this judgment against men, that men cannot be victims, that men, is embarrassing for men to come forward as victims of other men. So I love the fact that he didn't use that. He didn't shame himself. He allowed everybody to know what he went through, which will help a lot of people, especially young men and or boys that are afraid to come forward out of shame. So of course, here she goes, right? Martha is so angry about all of this. She's calling this woman fat. She's calling this woman ugly. And honestly, she depicts her very well. So we go down. This is the real baby reindeer. I mean, this is the real Martha. She is tripping on her page. She is tripping on her page. This is her. Here's the actress. Okay, she did brilliant. Look at what this crazy lady is saying. And he has came out and said, do not look for these people. Do not look for the actual, the names of the real people. I don't want them bothered. Most importantly, he doesn't want this stalker stalking again, but now she's doing it. She is doing it. And she has previous stalking charges. Hey, Christine. George, do you want to come up while we wait for CJ? I know you were really into this. You have to watch it, Hakab. You have to. It is so well done. So let's go over to Fiona's page and see just how crazy she has gotten. Okay. 1 hour ago, internet crashing. An hour ago, I loafed the police. They need to do something about all the rapists roaming the free streets. If someone told me last year I'd be trending with Britney, would have said, shoot me. These are all an hour ago, 2 hours ago. This generation have no clue. All uneducated, raised by parents with no money, no levels. Go ask your wee mom what qualifications she has. 0. 4 hours ago, how many rapists walking around scot-free? And we messages because of narcissistic men allowing you to feed their ego get triggered when you expose them. Then the hideous police put all the blame on a woman, but leave a rapist to walk free. The lady's crazy. She is out and she is active and she is angry. And I actually feel bad for Richard, because this is why I say we're going to get a series 2. This is insane. Hey, Beachy. Hey, Gretchen. It's been a while. It's good to see you. So I'm not 60 stone like Jessica. Richard Gadd, who loves to gag on ball sacks, try to portray me as the misery woman, one of his favorite movies. The lady's crazy. She came out with her identity. He didn't put it out. She came out with it. Do not vote Labor, whatever you do. Baby Reindeer was Gadd's last desperate shot. Pathetic. Be careful what you wish for. Are you 20th voting Labor? I don't want to be famous. That the failed comedian Gadd who gags on balls. But this lady's a bitch, man. She is a bitch. That she's starting obsessively talking about him, the situation again. I'm sure it's re-triggered some emotions all over. I couldn't agree more, Tara. It's actually really sad. She was stalking in charge before she stalked Richard. Yes. Hey, Lori. Hello, Winnie. And she hasn't stopped. She is back at it. Hey, Kazai. Only 3 episodes in. Okay, so I'm trying not to spoil anything, but I'm going to show you that this is the actual Martha. This is her. And that's why she's back talking about them as well. This is crazy. If this twerp, Steven, I guess, Ding Dong King, tries to do a movie horror, Killer Deer, I'm suing him. Killer Deer. You got to admit, she's a little fucking funny, man. It shouldn't be funny, but she's funny. No. Point blank, gag on balls. I mean, Gad will hop to the idea. She's a horror. She really is. Stephen King wrote Baby. Okay, I get it now. Stephen King says Baby Reindeer, holy shit, which is such an honor. Stephen King acknowledging this small comedian telling his true story is an honor. So that's why she responds, if this twerp Stephen, Ding Dong King, tries to do a movie, horror, Killer Deer, or Dare. I'm sorry, this isn't supposed to be funny. It's not supposed to be funny. Hey, T. Adams. All right. This shit is funny, though. Killer Deer. Okay. I know she came out, but he didn't cover nothing. He verbatim quoted her and used her real law issues, including his restraining order. He knew we would find her. It's been 48 hours. Well, maybe he sought revenge after all these years. I don't know, but she's a funny ass woman. He did, and Misery is great. And I like that they do put the trigger warning before episode 4, and it was absolutely horrifying. But it's something we need to see. Hey, Polish. All right, so she's telling Stephen King, you better not. You better not. I bet Stephen Twick King has had young boys back at his home. Ty don't call it casting couch for a reason. So see, like these type of things could get her in trouble. She just expectations are the root of all heartache. I look nothing like that fat lady in Gad's sitcom. No, you don't. She's actually prettier than you, but you do look like her. Hey, Mike C. Stalking stories are so hard to tell because you can't really tell it until it's over, but telling it may reignite their fixation, which we see here. He's a lot stronger now. He's had organizations help him. He's actually working with other organizations to help others. I think he waited until he was in a place such as to do this because there was the possibility that she would start back up. And here she is, man. In all her crazy glory, here she is. Hey, Helen. I know Benefit Britain want labor so you can continue with giving sick notes. I don't care how mentally ill you are. Don't vote labor today. Ooh. Get rid of him now. Look at her. These are all within hours, man. You will grow to understand, not as crazy as they make me out to be. These are all within 14 hours. So she's posting these back to back to back, and we're supposed to believe she's not crazy? Look at them, back to back to back. Never listen to what wretched men say. Look at their actions. Gad is a very manipulative man. He was obsessed with being famous, never told police. When we read that. Gad is so obsessed he couldn't move on, find himself a he, she, gay, something, and leave us women alone. This woman's a nightmare. These are all within 14 hours, 17 hours now. She is a nightmare. Happy first day of May. I love the police. Gad loves them and is so-called, I mean, come on. Sugar levels very low. What do you 20th eat? I don't like eating junk food. It's very bad for mental health, but the government produce in droves. Let's point out what's horrific about you. You let a rapist potentially rape other men, but he's unknown. But the media praise you for your bravery. Dude, this lady's wild. The internet is the worst punishment. What do police do? Nothing. He's set to expose the people who fled him over for his own protection, his man abuser, but should Pucker season 2 coming? Listen, there is no, the fact of the matter is, you know, I can laugh at the fact that this lady's a lunatic and we can joke and everything, but there are people like Martha and Fiona out there. There are people like this that get obsessed. They think they can say and do whatever they want, and they're not held accountable. And it is in 2024, it is time for the internet to pick up with the rise of crime taking place over social media. This right here, repeatedly posting these type of things, should have her removed. Absolutely. What I find shocking, Gad, you let the so-called rapist roam free. Yeah, I mean, this is just, but makes a whole, she spells how she talks, but makes a whole sitcom about me. I didn't pretend your freaking stupid shows were going to make you famous. They never did because you were a cheap crap comedian 22 hours ago. But guy stayed in a pub paying peanuts because he got free drugs. No contact for over a decade. Baby Reindeer, Aunt Marie's, how convenient. Now, does anybody believe her here? You lot don't know the half about Gad. He led me on from start. When I stopped texting, he then began doing physiological things to stuff my mind up. Peep through my window, follow me on buses. If someone harassed you that much, you would leave your job for goodness sake. It's a pub. He enjoyed the torment he put me through, dangling me by a thread. Does anybody believe her that he maybe led her on a little bit? The obsession was crazy. It's very scary. The fact people really act like this sometimes. I've had a stalker before, male. It was really terrifying because he knew where I lived. Yeah. Yeah. People can downplay other people's fear because they're not on the receiving end of it. But until you are, you have no business judging how somebody feels. That is fact. That is absolute fact. People think a message is harmless. The internet can't hurt you, but the way it steals your peace and takes a toll on your mental health is detrimental to your life. Thank you, Peachy. You get it. You absolutely get it. This man was a nobody who could get nowhere. He built his own platform and did this whole thing on his own. He found his power and took it back, showing we all can today. Well, and I guess he admits that he led her on a bit, right? Yeah, well, there you go. He absolutely did. He did admit to that. He was so fucked in the head that yeah. I don't think so, Southern Gal. No. But I didn't. I haven't seen anything saying he has. Nope, Shanley. And then you hear some of these people cry over the most smallest asinine things, but then dismiss the big things of how other people fear. Yep. It's not fair that we can't be kind to people, have empathy for without becoming a target. Is that truly leading her own, though? Some of us just freeze like he did when she groped him. Yeah. This is all because he offered a free tea. He loved the attention. He was lost soul. Well, I liked when it quoted, you start to notice them noticing you. That's why he went back to his past and talked about his abuse, low self-esteem, self-loath. Right. You're right, Nina. But she always went too far. Yep. But not romantically, just socially, if that makes sense. Right. Like he felt bad for her. He enjoyed the way she made him feel. Yeah, I get that. And she never drank it. Where the hell are you, CJ? All right. So, doing a major TV appearance next week. Who is ready? I've not eaten in days because daily fail mafia circus intimidating people all for a story, and had to get chocolate layer at night because sulfur sugar levels down. Had to go out in a COVID mask because I get harassed. I kind of feel bad for her. I mean, she's right. It's been over a decade. This comes out, and now here we are, right? OG is partly his doing, yes. And she's now being, honestly, she's kind of getting a taste of what she's done, right? mean, this is what she's done to him. And here's the things. So the internet did what the internet does, right? And they started searching and they found her tweets from 2015 where she was literally saying things like, hey, Richard Gadd, I need my curtains hung. So they found her. They found her quick, very quickly. You all be hearing my accounts off the lies told by Gadd. I haven't been respectful enough to hear my side, unlike the childish journalist who's been hounding my phone calling all hours. These are all written around the same time, too. She goes back to back with writing. Thank you to people who have supported me, and my lawyers have been great. Gadd is the real stalker. So she does remind me of Mrs. P. I saw somebody say that, and I agree. Being the one that this series is based on, no. He needed her just as much as she needed him. What a powerful statement, Shelby. I think as women, we have double standard. Men, unfortunately, have a harder time. I'd accused of something. Hey, Mark. She was fired from her first law firm job after days because she couldn't believe and started stalking a law firm partner. She is vulnerable and should have been protected. However, she did want this recent publicity. You think she did? Well, to be fair, Marianne, he asked the public not to do this. What more could he do? I mean, the internet's going to do what the internet does. Interviewed her because she contacted them, say, yes, I have been found. Do you have that, London girl? Can you send that to me? Gadd went after a soft-spoken woman, but let the so-called rapist off scot-free. The irony. Sunny daily fail, Sunday fail. All employees with no degrees. All use slang when in professional roles. British tax spent on benefit Britain. 20s don't work, so balloons. Uni dropouts like Gadd. No wonder you support that grasshopper. This is nuts. She's crazy. Look at it. Cup of tea time. She's fucking funny. I'm sorry. She's a real bitch, man. She knows what she's doing. She's a slick woman. Funny, Gadd, woe and sorry fool he feels for promoting his crappy show in the Daily Fail. I've seen his crap. It's painful to watch. I record everything you said, you wee sad man, lying and now writing rubbish about me, all because I want to take his calls and Laura wants me silenced. Eat dirt, Gadd supporters. Who wants the comments back? Having a weak can of Coke. Oh, she's fucking nuts. She's nuts. She really is something else. This is crazy. The journalist did not want to print her name, and she said, please print my name. Journalists said they wanted to protect her as they knew she was vulnerable, etc., but she insisted they print her name. She's enjoying it. She's enjoying this attention. It's similar to the attention she received off stalking Gadd and the two men before her. No, this is for sure her. Yes, this is her. I agree, Gretchen. She wants this. Gadd never wanted. Oh. I will give anyone who can comment a live exclusively interview. Should we message her? You guys want an interview with her? Should we get her on the show? That's the last thing we need is somebody like her in this community. Please comment. Please do comment. Harass me, pretty please. Gadd, this is the worst type of revenge. You could have just married a trans, been happy. No, you want to be remembered for fantasize about a woman you're obsessed with and never has sex with me. We sad man. Wow. Hey, Brick. Do it. Do it. This lady's little nuts. What you gonna say in the comments now? Nothing. I warned you. You want to stop. On and on and on. Pigs are far more clever than this generation. She spells everything wrong. Her comments got turned off. Oh, Lordy. I know, Kathy. I know. Martha in our community, Cece. We got too many. We got too many of them. Any attention from the victim of a stalker is good attention. That's scary. Yeah. Yeah. She said what did she say she was, guys? 56? She wrote it above. So all you sad we journalists with no degrees, leave me alone. You won't be seeing me on my main Facebook today. Bye. This one she has the comments on. Send from my iPhone. Oh. Look at this. There is a support group for Fiona. You guys join in? Put a 2 in the chat if you're going to join the support group for her. Hey, Tattoos. Hey, Air Force. Check this out. Fiona Harvey supporters group. Fiona doesn't deserve this media intrusion. I hope she puts the record straight and ruins Gad's career, as let's face it, he's a one-trick pony. And there are people that are actually defending her. I wouldn't say he went to great lengths protecting her identity. I don't think he went to any lengths at all. But he did. He also asked people not to try to find and harass her. Word is she outed herself for attention. I think he possibly changed her drink from Coke to Diet Coke, possibly made Martha slightly heavier. I don't think that you can blame him for it, though, after everything. And she raped him and stalked him, whether he instigated it or not, is still wrong. Like, come on, you guys are sympathizing with her? Wow, there's a support group for her. Let's check this article out. What are you guys thinking? In the show, his barman character, Donnie Dunn, becomes the object of obsession for loner Martha, played by Jessica Gunnan, who is a beautiful woman. She's beautiful. You know, Cece, so many people always go to that. People think folks work in bars want them when they're just working. Right. Well, part of being a bartender is flirting for tips. Just same thing with waitressing and most careers. Okay, so Richard claimed he went to great lengths to conceal the identity of the woman who stalked him in real life and has begged fans not to search for her. But last week, law graduate Fiona Harvey spoke out, claiming fans of the show has accused her of stalking Gad in real life, and she filed to sue Netflix, claiming she will kick their asses in court. So who is Fiona Harvey? I'm sorry, but she looks like a stalker, and I know that's very not fair to say, but I will. Okay, so Fiona is 58. She's 58. And she says she met Gad years ago when he was a bartender at the Hawley Arms in London, Camden. She admits to befriended him and claims she gifted him a pair of tartan M&S pants to congratulate him on one of his comedy shows, but she denies she stalked him. I'm very attractive. He's not Brad Pitt. Oh lordy. Oh lordy. She does keep saying she's so hot. Chicken feet, can I have a support group? I need a support group. Okay, so that's like when people change their avatars to whatever channel. Like if you guys all start putting watermelons in your avatars, you know? All right, so she goes on. I have a claim against Netflix as this is being billed as part of a true story. There's a fat actress that's supposed to be me. She's actually beautiful and depicts her greatly. I'm a highly competent lawyer. I'd have to do it myself. I'm very good. I have a photographic memory and can memorize huge files. I was top in my school at everything. So that actually was said during the show. She said, oh, as for how she discovered the show, she says she first became aware of it when Gad took it to Edinburgh Fringe Festival as a one-man show. She said, he's come up with this character called Martha, and he has put me right in the frame. This is a program for the 20-somethings. So that's why she keeps saying 20-somethings on her Facebook. She thinks only 20-year-olds like this. I'm in my 30s, and I thoroughly enjoyed all of this show. The people with no lives, no jobs, whatever, I don't want to be a celebrity. The 7-part series follows I don't want to be a celebrity. She's impressive, man. She's very insulted by that. Very insulted by that. The 7-part series follows Gad's character, Donnie, as he works behind a bar while struggling to make it as a comic. One day, an emotional Martha walks in. He offers her a free cup of tea when she says she has no money. She tells him that she is a lawyer, but soon it becomes clear that there is more to Martha than meets the eye. Over the next couple episodes, Donnie finds himself sent thousands of emails and texts from Martha, who affectionately refers to him as Baby Reindeer. The series takes many dark twists and turns as it delves into the drama from Donnie's own past, as well as confronting Martha's demons. It has even won praise from the master of horror, best-selling author Stephen King. She's beautiful. Jessica is beautiful. To get the show more amped up. So a few years ago, that took place here on YouTube. There was this woman who came out and she claimed she was a teenager. And she did a very low budget streaming from her bedroom. And she had this boyfriend come over and they got in a fight and people became really attached to this YouTuber that they thought was a teenager and living everyday life. And then people started realizing something wasn't right here. Like all of her furniture came from Target, this and that. And they later found out it was actually done by a production studio and she was an adult actress. So yeah, I mean, there's that possibility. I don't know. Richard has opened up about how important it was for him to tackle the tough themes highlighted in the autobiographical series. When a man gets stalked, it can be portrayed in films and television as a sexy thing. That's true. That's true. And that's sad. So I'm glad that he did this. I was physically scared because I didn't know how far she could take it. It doesn't carry as much a threat of physical violence. It is less common and can be trivialized. That is true too. You know, just because there's not physical violence doesn't mean somebody can't be scared of it. He admitted that some elements of the show have been dramatized to create added suspense, and he has urged viewers not to target or look for the real-life woman that made his life so uncomfortable. So this week he wrote, "People I love, have worked with, and admire are unfairly getting caught up in speculation. Please don't speculate on who any of the real-life people could be. That's not the point of our show. Lots of love, Richard." He didn't do well enough because here we have it. A support group. We have a support group. According to the series, he made sexual innuendos. He followed her home and she caught him peeping in her window. And instead of turning over her emails, instead he fantasized and blanked off over her, and he accepted her friend request after reading she was a stalker. And he said he wondered how far this would go. And didn't she hand job him in the alley? That's what you hand jobbed him in the alley? That's what you consider that? Hey, Thor. Wow. This is a woman. It sounds to me like they had a weird toxic relationship of sorts, and it's obvious why she assumed she was involved with him. He also did not go to great lengths to disguise her identity. I think this was intentional and that Gad owes Fiona Harvey a big fat paycheck, and I hope she pursues that. That's crazy. I can't believe this. I feel like there are people that are using this to have fun. I feel like there are people that are trying to, I don't know, you know how people are. We know how people are, especially in this type of environment on YouTube. You know how people go in, they normalize the not normalized things. They try to excuse horrific behaviors. I feel like that's what's going on here. I feel like people are the same way people did with Mrs. P. People are fucking with this woman by pretending that they care about her. This is true. Good on you, Stuart. This woman doesn't need support from anonymous people on the internet that think they know her because they watched a dramatized version of a tiny piece of her life from a decade ago. Anyone reaching out to her, irrespective of the message, is going to be doing more harm than good. She needs real help and support. Has she got a new baby reindeer asking for a friend? Wow. So I got that because of trauma. He knew he effed the situation with Martha and his girlfriend as he had not healed where there was trauma. Right. He owns it. So that's what this commenter's saying. I believe they're trolling her. Absolutely. So this person's saying the fact that a lot of people are pulling this and twisting it is insane. And the fact that no one is understanding how abuse works is even crazier. And for that, I also think some of you are downright in denial with trying to get stuff right when you say he's making her out to be the unstable one. He clearly doesn't. He shows and mentions his part in it and even how it took him down a hell of a path. And despite what everyone is saying about the abuse and the fame, he has finally reached a point where he is strong enough to put himself and her and the blame and everyone else who wronged him. He has struggled with it for forever, so maybe you could try to look at it from a distance and put yourself in the reality of abuse in multiple forms and see the best way you could cope with it. And hell, even then, you would be nowhere close to understanding. But at least you could do not sit here and judge. I can't stand that people write this way. Listen, learn to put commas and periods. These are run-on sentences. Run me crazy. Neither comes out looking good in the story. That's what I'm saying. He made her as sympathetic as himself. Truly. Well, he acted as himself, hippie. Gad played Donnie. I just can't believe there's a group for her. She's getting a whole lot of crap. He's getting a whole lot of money. He strung her along. Oh my gosh. They're wild. These people are wild. Let's go back to Fiona's page. Oh, this is a fake Fiona. Oh, it's because the group post. Okay, never mind. I haven't been on YouTube in the longest time. I mean, Facebook. So here we are again. Remember all these posts? This is very similar to what he experienced in the series. These are all within 24 hours. You Amber Heards. You Amber Heards of the world. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Look at this. You Amber Heards of the world who go on and on and on and on. My comment's off now. Go harass Gad. Tell him how great at being a wee victim he is. You just don't listen. You 20th are rude, disrespect, stupid. Wow. Stupid, we lying people, anything for headlines, disgusting and criminal. Daily Mail didn't interview me. They lied over a telephone, same way you trying to lie that I'm on your show. All we sad people, get over me. I will never appear. This is top of her class on any of your sad shows.
Yeah. It's Baby Reindeer. I've just found out you haven't seen Baby Reindeer, so I'm gonna have to explain this.
Yeah.
It's really a massive show. It's a dark comedy about one man's experience of being stalked. It's not even based on a true story. When you watch it, the very first thing is it says this is a true story. And the person at the center, just before I play the trailer, let me explain. The person at the center is a comedian called Richard Gadd who plays himself.
Oh shit, that's the real guy, Sean Foley? You internet sleuthers. Wow, he did a brilliant job depicting him as well. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Sent iPhone? I agree, Peachy. It really is. So here's the man. Here's the real man. Holy hell. He looks just like the actor. They listen, he didn't try protecting nobody's identity. That literally looks like him. Unless, are you saying this was the actor for him and not the producer, dude? I'm confused. Someone correct me. Because that's how she sent all of her messages to him. At the end, she would sign sent from iPhone. And it would always be spelled wrong or different. Oh, it's being speculated? Well, I think the speculation is on par. Wow. All right. Okay. That is creepy.
And therefore, you're really on it when you have this scene with him meeting the woman who's going to stalk him.
Hey, Sammy.
This woman is stalking you.
Yeah, like 6 months maybe.
Why'd it take you so long to report it?
I think she needs help. She comes to my work, my house. She sends me emails like all the time.
Or any threatening towards you?
Yeah.
There's a reason you're keeping her
I just had an egg. That's the abuser. Oh, wow.
around, and maybe it's what she gives you.
Got really manly hands, haven't you? Chiseled jawline. Should we run away together?
So he flirted with her, but he had no idea what he was really in for. He enjoyed the way she made him feel, but he didn't realize that she would intensify all of that. Oh, the whole thing's crazy.
Yeah, so Baby Reindeer is her nickname for him. The stalker is called Martha Scott on the show. She's played by an actress called Jessica Gunny, who does it brilliantly.
Shoot, that the whole show's brilliant. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. I think he was so damaged and effed up that he needed to do this and not really cover up. He needs to be free and maybe revenge time. Hey, Eliza. You know what? I think you're right, Helen. I do. I absolutely can see that being the case.
But the thing is, what with the internet now, the sleuths are immediately on it to find out who was the real person stalking Richard Gadd. And she's been named all over the place. Yeah. And she then, the real life stalker, who, by the way, stalked other people as well, because they're mentioned. She's then given an interview to the Mail, but the Mail says, "Oh, I think we better not use your name." So the Mail's actually trying to protect her. So there we are. I'm the victim. He's written a bloody show about me. The alleged female stalker whose story has gripped her world. The world in Netflix hit Baby Reindeer tells her side of the story and says I'm being bullied for fame.
Do you think she's being bullied for fame? Does anybody feel that way? So yeah, some of them said sent from iPhone misspelled. A lot of it was misspelled. Hey, Freeside. He is I really adore him. I think he's a great person. I love that he came out and told this. It can be embarrassing. It can be embarrassing to admit to the world, one, that you don't know, if you like men or women. It can be embarrassing to admit that you were an addict. It can be embarrassing to admit that you were raped. It can be embarrassing to admit that you fancied a stalker, if you will. So, yeah, I good on him for coming forward. For the very last time, you idiot people, I'm not using my main Facebook because all you dumb bad people go on and on and on and on and on, stalk, harass my friend, then come here, write 100 comments, argue, and I'm not real. I will turn comments off here as well, you crazy stalkers. Go away. Internet keeps crashing. Now, again, she says she has not eaten anything because that sad wee woman from Daily Record won't stop harassing the fuck out of me. So she keeps telling people she's not eating. Listen, I don't know. I think the whole thing's crazy. I agree people should be leaving her alone. if you really truly, it's kind of like with victims of any crime, right, Cece? Like the parents in these victim crimes, that, Sebastian Rogers, the Wells, Kylie Rodney, people deep dive into these people's lives, and they get so wrapped up in it as if it is just a series. And in this case, it was a series based off real life things. And people are kind of, I don't know, forgetting that this involves real people with real lives. Hey, Demon, good to see you. I don't feel sympathy for a person who attaches themselves like a leech or other parents. Well, that's fair enough, Gary. B thing about today yourself has left stud down. Feck off. Scotland don't want you. We tinkle freaking ass wipe. The whole thing's insane, I'm telling you, because she spells the same way. There's no way this wouldn't be her. Poor wee thing. Now this should be news, not baby freaking reindeer. Need to rest. Bye. I mean, you guys got to remember, this is only 2 days worth of things on Facebook. 2 days. Sent from my piles, froze on my arch cheek. She's funny, man. She is funny. I mean, seriously, am I the only one that feels like this is Mrs. P's like doppelganger? And I know that's horrible, but even like Mrs. P, she was funny, somehow funny. And this lady is a little funny. Sent from my piles, froze on my arch cheek. I feel like there could be another season. This is her Facebook. Yeah. Gad, you watching every single post I make? Because that's Gad, totally obsessed with me. He brought you into his web or obsession because look at you all. Roosters, freaking roosters. How can a world become obsessed with a made-up character story in Gad's drug-fueled head? He was always drugged out working on the arms. My boyfriend thinks Gad is angry that he never freaking got me into bed sheets. As his main fantasy was to sleep with me, he thinks that's what eats him up the most. So now she has a boyfriend. Oh gosh, I can't. Did you, Hiccup? I have a stalker too. Quite a few. Is he back at Edinburgh Fringe this year? So another series may be coming. He could do a whole nother series based off this. Yeah, he played himself. Gadgis becomes very obsessed if you pay him no mind. So to mind fuck all fucks, he went and wrote a shitcom about me. The circus I'm in is what nightmares are made of. Wake up, hot sweats. Think you dreaming. Go back to sleep. Wake up. But realize it wasn't a dream. Pap waiting outside house. Thank God I'm smart. I've moved. You can't find me. Night. I'll write a million more messages. I'm not hurting you or anyone. No one life in danger. I'm not contacting or harassing no one. You're all doing a fine job at that. I'm just writing my factual facts. You guys got to remember, this is within 2 days. I kind of feel like the show fed her delusions because look at what she's saying here. I'm supposed to be this crazed person, but Gad fantasized about me. I'm so glad I don't know any pop stars who are claiming to be new fans, all crazed stalkers. Celebrity has long gone, just a bunch of druggies coked up, all thinking they special. Or men like Tate or what's his face? Annoying, long dude with long receding hair who sexually assaulted women. And a police have don't feck all to arrest him. Russell Brand, that's his face. Police make me sick. She may have watched the series and loved it. Like, oh, he dreamed of me. You was unprofessional. cheated on your husband. She's fucking nuts. Watch it again with all of this in mind. Oh, Gary, stop that. I would never have sex with Gad. Another one of his sick lies. I don't want to be famous. I've always typed a lot. Now get the fuck. If I become vegan, will you hang my soy curtains? What the fuck's wrong with this lady? The fuck? So in 2015, she did send a tweet that said, Richard Gad, at Richard Gad, I need my curtains hung. The actress was beautiful. To trade you? What the fuck? I don't know, Crime Brulee. I don't know where the hell she's at. I mean, she's kind of funny. That's what I'm saying. Like, I could see why, like, part of him fell for her because she is a funny ass bitch. I have a strange feeling Gad going to be the death of us both. He just won't let it go. Little wee druggy Gad, poor old me, who's in fact a druggie. Why didn't this wee sad man with all his trauma go to the police and report his rapist? Instead, he fueled all his anger towards me. He's so full of freaking horse shit. And this Lorraine over the hill who looks 90, hold on for dear breath. Keep my freaking name out of your last leg's mouth. She's knocking on Grim Reaper's door. Give up your seat for another presenter. You passed yourself by Haggerty. And whoever used this overweight fat woman to play me, who, may I add, I look younger and I'm 58, needs to stop typecasting your shit. Oh, yes, it's Gad who cast this shitcom. I forgot. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Plot twist, Gad raped himself. He's at the range and was desperate for a wee bit of fame. This lady's fucking insane. Can you all be my stalkers and hit the thumbs up, please? That's what I'm saying, OG. I couldn't even fathom. Right, these are all within 2 days, Cobb. We're only on 2 days of tweets. Ew. That's why God used them poor wee unsipped mutants. What a sick thing for her to say. I won't even read that one. You lot crazier than bad on steroids. Oh my God. They let kids, men mutate themselves. Oh, shut up. Gad is obsessed. He plotted for 10 years plus, made up lies because he failed as a comedian. I'm more funnier than he will ever be. Labby Hyde Gawk. Wee frickin' hen he is. What masculine man looks another man or a man with a sewn on fadge? These are all within fucking hours. 2 days ago. All of these. Internet crashing. Why does she keep putting that? Look at it. Again, we're on 2 days. Laura Walker, sent my lawyer your details. You've been stalking me, harassing me for the past week. Mail on Sunday.
Such thing as a taxi rank. You kind of get one. If you've not got the Uber app, which I don't, you'll not get one, but they're all mad rapists.
Oh, she talks like she does in this show. Listen to this. Oh, hey, Cheryl, listen to this.
It's things like taxis in London. There's no such thing as a taxi rank. You kind of get one. If you've not got the Uber app, which I don't, you'll not get one, but they're all mad rapists. If you want a black cab, you need the black cab app. Well, I don't have it. So you're stuck with some foreign bozo who doesn't know where he's going, and a journey will cost you £1,000 million. That's just...
She's talking about taxi rides. Yes, yes. She reminds me of quite a few people, Tara. It's really a shame. Think I should start a new Twitter. I can't access my old one. I'm hangry. Yusuf was probably reading my post and resigned. Now he won't be going to the ball. My wee stomach is rumbling. This is stalking. The irony is magnificent. Writing that I'm a deranged person and stalker, but you calling a person you never met 50 times. Okay, woman, go to sleep now. There's even people in different languages sent from my iPhone. This is wild. My head is not stiff from the back. Just stop. Few people sound fake. Stop interacting with me. 20th somethings are very, very unedited. All they learn is TikTok. All they want is TikTok fame. Three days ago. Someone explained why Richard Gadd didn't use all his effort into bringing his rapist to court and convict him. Surely to God, drugging and rape is far worse than what he said I supposedly did. Sent a few messages after leading me on. Anybody want to come up? She could be TikTok famous. Let's try to message her. Let me stop the screen share for a moment. I'm sure there's no way to message her, to be honest. Actually, I don't want to message her. She scares me. Never mind. Never mind. So Gad wants to keep doing fucking daytime TV to go on and on and on, just like Amber Heard. Stop, Gad. You just will not stop, you wee bastard. Gad is no Pritt. Gad is no Pritt. Gad is no Brad Pitt. What's this?
Which drinks like Amy Wine. What seems to happen in Camden is they've all got shrinks like Amy Winehouse has. They're all essentially like her. And although they may not be physically violent as she was, they are so pejorative and so nasty. The Tories are especially like that in Camden. A lot of them. I will have no tack with that.
Okay. If Gad didn't want to incite hate against me, he would have never played himself a decade after the whole incident. Everyone who worked at that shitty pub knew who I was. Hey, London girl.
Hey, lady, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. You are distracting me from going out and voting because we've got elections today in the UK,
Oh, is
and also working. So pleasure is mine.
Is
'Cause you're
that why
doing.
she's telling everybody to go vote?
Oh yeah, probably. So
Oh.
so I've got a couple of questions. Is that definitely her profile? Because a lot of people have been cloning her.
Well, this was the first one that I thought I mean, honestly, I believed it was, but I don't know to say
Okay.
100% sure. But I know this is the first one that the like articles have also pinned as being her.
Okay, got it. Because I haven't actually seen the show because I didn't like the subject matter, like because it was dealing with, like his essay, and it kind of just wasn't for me. But he's done a lot of there are a lot of interviews about the show on YouTube, so I kind of found out about it that way because I was just like, baby reindeer, what's the baby reindeer? What is this new Netflix show? So I found out about it that way. And then when I was on Twitter, no, I saw the interview and he said, "Oh, I've definitely made sure that nobody can find her. I've made it so, I protected her or whatever, whatever." But then on Twitter, what I found out was his social media still contained posts from her.
Yes, yes, there
And
were
so
actual tweets where she added him in 2015. So she
Yeah.
would write at Richard Gadd, I need my curtains hung. Yes.
Exactly. And that's how they found her so quickly because and so for me, I can understand why she's mad to a degree, but I do feel she's also enjoying the attention because that's her mentality, right? She has a stalker mindset because this isn't
Right.
the first person she's done this to. She had previous like you said, she got fired from her first job or one of her jobs for doing the same thing to a married man.
Yep. Excuse me, I was yawning. Yep, absolutely. And that's what I keep saying she reminds me a bit of Mrs. P because it'd be the same thing, claiming to hate it, yet totally looking for it, right? So I feel like
Right.
that's what we're seeing here. That while she's saying she doesn't want this attention, I'm sure to some extent she doesn't. It's also like, oh, you're kind of,
Yeah.
feeding the
Yeah.
frenzy here.
And then that thing I put in the chat, because when I was reading up about it again the other day, it was this journalist had read, and I'm trying to remember where I read it, but she said that actually we're a Scottish newspaper. We interviewed her a few weeks ago, and we didn't want to, we wanted to do the article about the real Martha, but we didn't want to disclose who she was, and she was insistent. She was
Hmm.
insistent that they put it's her and her name and reveal who she is and she'd actually contacted them and said, yeah, it's true. I've been found. It's me. It's definitely me. I am.
Did she cut out for anybody else? We lost you, London girl. Oh, you're back. You there?
Okay, sorry. I can't see where I'm actually talking to you. So I'm literally just holding my phone to my mouth thinking, I hope people can hear me. It's so bizarre.
We got
But
to the part where she basically said to them, like, it's me, I've been
yeah,
found.
yeah, she contacted them when people were trying to find her, and there was a lot of buzz around her. So I think, and if I think about how obsessive people get, like been watching you and your stuff on YouTube and how you've had a stalker for so long, and even that other lady, perplexed, is it perplexed
Yes,
TC, and she
yes.
has. And it's like there's a certain mentality because why can't people just leave people alone? If you don't like them, just move on and
Hmm.
and leave them alone. And I'm not saying that's the case for Martha because obviously this is a completely different scenario. But the stalking at the moment on YouTube is out of control, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It absolutely is. And there's not enough laws up to date to handle things the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. So listen, babes, I'm gonna go. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Not at all. Have a lovely rest of your day. Take care.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye.
They do. The UK privacy laws are way better than ours. Absolutely. Uh, so check this out because I just saw this. And like I said, she's kind of making a joke of it all. So she says, I'm not a big drinker, but I need a whiskey and Coke last night. I still have some weak Coke left because the whole thing is, oh, there is no sound. The whole thing of her with Coke. Hey, I'm Zen. Hey, just the mom. The woman's wild. Just had a cup of wheat tea. The whole world's fascinated as Gad is with me. Must be something in the water. My spelling is a little bad today. Please forgive me. I've not slept. I mean, and this goes on, and they're like within hours. Yeah, and here's the thing. She was also accused of stalking the ex-first minister. Fiona Harvey, 58, came into contact with the late Glasgow MP Jimmy Ray, who died at age 78 in 2013, and his solicitor wife, Laura, 62, when she was a former Labour Party member. It is also alleged Miss Harvey, originally from Vivi, had earlier harassed late First Minister Donald Dewar and made a bid to be nominated by Labour for a Holyrood seat. She was said to have frequently turned up at his constituency surgeries and claimed she was his special advisor. So she has a history of this shit, man. This is wild. I know, Smother. If you skip past that, I believe it was the third episode. You'll still understand everything taking place if you skip that. Yeah, our privacy laws do suck nuts. Which reminds me, guess what I just saw today? Check this out. You want to talk about finally seeing revenge for somebody being a child molester? Check this out. Check this shit out.
Uncensored, a man in Louisiana will have a permanent reminder of the punishment for raping a 14-year-old girl. Not only will Glenn Sullivan Sr. be headed to prison for the next 50 years, a judge has ordered that his balls be removed. My next guest demands.
You heard that correctly. A judge ordered that this man's balls be removed. He impregnated a 14-year-old girl after having all types of criminal records. And so the judge literally ordered that his balls be cut off. Round of applause for some well-needed justice. And maybe, just maybe, if they started doing this to every rapist, there'd be less rapists. Hell yeah, they are. Let's hear that again.
The Factor Uncensored, a man in Louisiana will have a permanent reminder of the punishment for raping a 14-year-old girl. Not only will Glenn Sullivan Sr. be headed to prison for the next 50 years, a judge has ordered that his balls be removed.
Hell
My next
yeah.
guest demanded
Cut 'em
Sullivan
off.
be physically castrated. And joining us tonight on The Factor Uncensored, we have living.
Now, I'm not going to lie. When I first tuned into this, I thought, oh, is this one of those like mockery things where they like kind of joke about the, you ever see one of those where they present themselves as if they're news papers, but they're really making a mockery? But no, this was real. This was absolutely real.
Livingston Parish Assistant District Attorney Brad Cascio. Glad to have you here on The Factor, Mr. Cascio. Crazy situation there. A man is accused and has been convicted of raping a 14-year-old, and he was sentenced to 50 years in prison. And now part of that sentence is physical castration. Many of us have heard of chemical, but when you talk about
physical, hey, pretty. They are going to physically chop off his balls. Hell yeah.
Physical, exactly what does that mean?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Of course, we're talking physical this time, as you said, unlike the chemical. I've had probably 2 or 3, I think, over the course of my career, chemical castrations that are ordered. And what that entails in the state of Louisiana is a scheduled administration of shots throughout the remainder of the defendant's life that he has to go in, he has to report, and he has to voluntarily intake. And if he ever were to...
Well, they're saying in jail that they would give them shots.
Take testosterone or steroids to counteract those injections, then that would be a new charge and he would go back to prison for the cases.
Okay, outside of prison. So they actually do this? Wow. Wow.
Physical castration, we're talking about a surgeon surgically removing the defendant's testicles from his body.
Got it. So now the person...
What do you guys think of that? I find this fascinating. I didn't know that they could do that. I didn't know they can give them shots to basically make them not work. Hey, lady. But I did not know that they could literally chop off their balls. Why haven't we been doing this across the table? Why this should be everywhere in every state. Every rapist should have the balls chopped off. Absolutely. I'm all for it too.
In question, the man convicted is 54-year-old Glenn Sullivan Sr. How did we get here? Give us a little backstory to tell us why this was necessary.
So Glenn Sullivan lived in Livingston Parish, to my understanding, his whole life.
Thank
and
you,
I
pretty.
can tell you he is what we call a long-time offender or a career defendant. He has constantly been a part in the justice system as a defendant. And this particular crime that he's committed is just so egregious and so heinous. The raping of a 14-year-old girl.
A 14-year-old girl who goes on to raise his baby. Holy hell.
which led to her being pregnant. Now this girl is raising this child. I mean, she has to live with this the rest of her life, with this child that I'm sure she's, going to love and she's going to raise. And, I really commend her. She was able to actually finish school, get her high school diploma, and she's really making something of herself. And I'm proud of her for that.
I'm proud of her for that too. Round of applause for her as well. I could not fathom going through what she went through and then having to raise that child. That is impressive. I'm so glad they're going to chop off this man's balls. They should chop off this man's balls as well for what he's out here doing to people, allegedly, like what happened to Richard Gadd. If this is truly the man, if the internet sleuthers have sleuthed correctly, and this is the man that is being depicted and Baby Reindeer as the one who drugged up and molested Gadd, which I'm telling you looks just like him. Oh, well, here I go. I spoke too soon because I just clicked on an article. And this article says, Baby Reindeer sparks police probe after online sleuths wrongly identify theater director Sean Foley as Richard Gadd's abuser. So he may not be the abuser. And that would suck if he wasn't. Oh, Lordy, the internet can get people. You guys want to know, I hear all people all the time talk about taking people to court and contacting the law and going legal. But apparently it's only okay to say that and not actually follow through. You're allowed to say it. You're allowed to claim it. You're allowed to raise money on it. But don't follow through, because if you follow through, you will then be labeled the bad guy for actually going real life. And their words, right? But let me tell you how defamation, libel, harassment is real life. Okay. Let me tell you how many emails I have received in the past 24 hours that have been threatening me based off the behaviors of a sociopath. Let me tell you what is defamation. Defamation is saying that I have child endangerment charges, that I've been convicted of child endangerment, and I am a danger to children. That is defamation. I have never been convicted of child endangerment. But let me tell you how easy it is to get child endangerment. Have you ever gone 5 miles over the speed limit? Imagine doing that with your child in the car. You now have child endangerment. Okay? Slander is saying that I have drug charges when I've never, ever have been charged with drugs. Harassment is telling somebody that if they don't come out here and do what you want them to do, that you are going to do it, that you are going to dox somebody. That is called intimidation and harassment. These people on here are constantly acting like there are not behaviors, there are not illegal things taking place on the internet. There is. So if this man was wrongly identified as the man from Baby Reindeer, well, he now has a defamation suit. He now has harassment charges he can take out on any idiot that is messaging him and falsely blaming him as being this guy, including myself, which thank God I said allegedly because I wasn't sure. There are behaviors you can't get away with, especially in 2024. There is inciting of hate. There's a lot of things. Exactly. But it can even be something as stupid as saying somebody has drug charges when they don't. If anything you put out there can harm a person's reputation and you know it is a lie and you were saying it to harm somebody's reputation, example being that I have child endangerment charges, therefore I am a danger to children, that is so defamatory. You can absolutely get in trouble for that. Just because this crazy woman that Gadd depicted in this show sent over 4,000 emails doesn't mean making over 400 community posts in a month doesn't equate to harassment and stalking as well. As people can see, this entire thing, including her being charged, took place over internet behaviors. She was tweeting, she was making posts, and she was emailing. So it blows my mind that people don't realize that, yes, that is harassment. Yes, Gadd literally says, I was not in physical danger. She didn't physically threaten me, but I didn't know what she was capable of. And that was enough for him to seek police intervention to hold her accountable. So these people act like they know anything about the legal system. They don't. And it is crazy, Solo. It's so asinine. Tell people to go legal on somebody because they went legal. Yeah, that makes sense. These people drive me nuts. That was my little rant for today, off the basis that people are fucking idiots. My other profile is my original Facebook. Gad started this. I will finish it. These are all within days. The woman is crazy. Neil from the Daily Mail tells lies. Your lies will be exposed in court. I recorded our conversations. No, they don't. They don't. Wiretapping, the definition of, very few countries allow castration. It's very controversial. Well, I wish they would all allow it, because they should. They absolutely should allow it. It should be done across every state in the United States. We should go old school way. Eye for an eye. I'm wide awake. Look how she just keeps going and going and going. So the internet has started back up. This woman's obsession with Gad, based off a series. And she now has her very own support group where people literally support this. Because, like in true idiotic fashion, there are always people that are going to, I don't know, stand against the grain, not recognize horrible behavior for what it is, you name it. And that is what we're seeing here. And I love that Stephen King's even involved in this, because that just adds to it. It should be. It should be an eye for an eye. Well, we should keep eye on repeaters and severity. Absolutely. I think just one time should be enough, if you ask me. One person. How about there was actually a state trooper out of Pennsylvania that was caught harming a 1-year-old child. 1-year-old child, a police officer. There's corruption everywhere. But if we did something to handle it, it wouldn't, it wouldn't continue to happen. So this is what we have here. We have crazy ass Fiona Harvey comes out as Martha. Styles rooted in childhood experiences. Stalkers may exhibit a range of issues, including personality disorders such as narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and delusional disorders like erotomania. Right, once is too many. I couldn't agree more, Pretty. I mean, can be, you know what I mean. I get what you're saying. Yes, absolutely. No, like in other countries, Pretty is like they chop off hands and shit. They throw rocks. It should be that type of shit. 16 months, Miss Liverbird. Thank you so much. $744 tweets. 46 Facebook messages. I'm telling you, people really think that they can get away with shit. And successful TV writer. I don't want to speak for every person that's been sexually abused, but one of the most common ramifications is self-blame, Gad told The Independent. Why did I go there? Why did I do this? Why did I blah, blah, blah? I lived in a prison of self-hate and self-punishment, but writing it down in a chronological way and processing it, I guess I learned to empathize with myself a little bit more. Wow. I can't read the full name, only the lady part. Only the lady part. Lady of the best boobs. I think that's what it says. That's usually interpretation, but it's woods. So lady of the lost woods. Now I say it. Mau. We both went there with that one. I don't know what happened to CJ today, but I feel like we've pretty much. The woman who stalked Richard Gad is not named Martha, so who was she? Richard Gadd said he is keeping those details private. He has never revealed her name to the media and changed key facts about her for the Netflix show. He did not go to great lengths, though. What's been borrowed as an emotional truth, not a fact-by-fact profile of someone. Wow. We've gone to such great lengths to disguise her to the point that I don't think she would recognize herself. Well, that's wrong. What's been borrowed as an emotional truth, not a fact-by-fact profile of someone. Do you think she could take out legal action on him? Because part of me feels like she could. I don't know. Because like it says with normal stalkers, there's like, bipolar behavior, narcissism. That's why I think she goes from I'm not going to do interviews to I am going to do interviews. Her dad visited. I think her family's there with her. What do you guys think? You think she could take out legal action? She might be able to. I don't know, given the fact that after her Netflix show was released, the alleged stalker who inspired Martha told the Daily Mail that she was considering taking legal action against Gadd. The woman insisted that now Gadd was the one who was obsessed with her. He's using baby reindeer to stalk me now, she told the tabloid. I'm the victim. He's written a bloody show about me. She also called Gadd's script bullying an older woman on television for fame and fortune, and that she received online death threats and abuse from Richard Gadd's supporters. She also told the site that she never owned a toy baby reindeer, and I wouldn't have had any conversation with Richard Gadd about a childhood toy either. I don't know. Oh, and then look at this. People I love, have worked with and admire, including Sean Foley, the man that I wrongly just had up on the screen, are unfairly getting caught up in speculation. Gadd posted a now expired Instagram story on Monday. Please don't speculate on who any of the real life people could be. That's not the point of our show. The police have been informed, are investigating all defamatory, abusive, and threatening posts against me, says Foley. If you like the show and you're a fan of it, you should stick to the story of Martha and Donnie being what connects you, not trying to do any detective work and find out any real identities. Now that's true. Oh, you didn't watch it yet? I would have made a great hanger or a model even. Well, but she didn't receive 9-year jail time sentence and a 5-year restraining order. Depends if that is true. There are many factors what their disclaimers are. I'm sure they covered and dotted their I's, don't you think? They had to have. They wouldn't just willy-nilly go out here and do this. Oh, here we go. So in the show, after Martha leaves a threatening voicemail on Donnie's phone, she is arrested and charged with 3 counts of stalking and harassment. She pleads guilty and receives a 9-month prison sentence and a 5-year restraining order. But in real life, it's unknown what happened to Martha. Gadd suggested at the Times that his stalker did not go to prison, adding that he didn't want to throw someone who was that level of mentally unwell in prison. He also revealed that he had mixed feelings about it, but that the situation was now resolved. I can't emphasize enough how much of a victim she is in all of this, he told The Independent. Stalking and harassment is a form of mental illness. It would have been wrong to paint her as a monster because she's unwell and the systems failed her. Wow. I don't know. Mr. Gadd. You might got yourself in some legal troubles. Not really if she came out and identified herself, though. I mean, they say it's based off a true story. People have to keep that in mind. Things that say based off a true story, they always dramatize it to keep the audience attention. It actually ends with him kind of having a new target, if you will, Mel. It's very interesting. You didn't watch it either, Pretty. You just finished it. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. You can all get started when you have time. I 10/10 recommend the show. I recommend the show way more than I recommend these stupid, gross drama streams. That's what I'm saying. Me as well, Nina. I agree. Oh, thank you, Gary. You haven't seen it either, Christine? Come on, this is your homework assignment. Welcome to Granny's Movie Club, all right? You all have a homework assignment of watching this series, and then we will take up the discussion again when Miss CJ comes through. Packed in his work and ultimately had no choice but to conflate the two. Oh, so do you guys, let me show you this really quick before we wrap it up. Hold on just a minute. So in the show, they show where Richard Gadd has a breakdown and ends up like telling the world what happened to him. Here's the real breakdown. Now, I guess if you didn't see it, you won't understand this, but
you're probably wondering why the old doctor there has lost his googly eyes. NHS cuts. Gotta break the tension, guys. Gotta break the tension. I never had any homosexual feelings before the incident. I could never tell whether those feelings were in me, and I'd never acknowledged them before, never even thought about them, whether the incident had created them in me.
So that's important to understand because Richard Gadd acknowledges that prior to being raped by a man, he enjoyed women. After that took place, he became confused on what his sexual preference was. He didn't know if he was into men, if he was into women. He didn't know if he's always had this in him or if this brought it out of him. And he really became internally conflicted on who he was, like an identity crisis, if you will. It's actually really sad.
Made me pathologize the event to such a degree that I started to question everything about myself. Either way, they're there now, and that's fine. I used to hate that side of myself. I used to go to bed at night and wish I could wake up in the morning and wouldn't be there anymore.
This is during a comedy show, and he kind of just has like a mental breakdown. This is the real version of it, though, lady of the woods, of the lost woods, now that I know your name.
Liked who I was before. Now, 6 years on, I think bisexuality is pretty cool. It means that every one of you here tonight can strike lucky, baby!
He still tries to add comedy to it, which bless his heart for that.
I used to blame myself so much for what happened. Why did I drink it? How could I be so fucking naive? My fault, his fault, my fault, his fault, my fault, his fault, my fault, his fault. And all of a sudden, 6 years have passed, and I'm not young anymore. In some ways, I wish it was my fault. Like, if anyone was going to fuck up my life, I'd want it to be me.
We're literally witnessing somebody, not in real time, because obviously this is an older video, but it just comes out of him.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. And I don't know how I feel about that yet. I do not have those answers. But I did make 3 mistakes on the way, right? 3 mistakes on the way. 3 mistakes. Okay, 3 mistakes, right? Mistake number 1, wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I mean, I was practically asking for it. Am I right, ladies? I'm joking. I'm joking. Mistake number 1. Mistake number 1. Tying the incident into this idea that I was no longer a man anymore. This idea that I'd been feminized. It's funny. Out of all the things that bothered me, and trust me, there was a lot that bothered me. There was a lot that bothered me. The one thing that bothered me most, and it seems ridiculous in retrospect, the one thing that bothered me the most, the one thing that bothered my monkey the most, this idea that I was no longer a man.
And that is what society has created. Society has done this. Society has made men who are victim of rape feel like they are less manly, that they are now feminine, that they've lost their manhood. It is a horrible, sad thing.
this idea that I've been feminized. And 6 years on, what is masculinity? What does that really mean? It's just a word. It's just a box for people to put things in. It doesn't exist. And I let it bother me for 6 years.
Yeah.
And if masculinity does exist, then masculinity is the problem with everything. It's the problem on my side in terms of not speaking out, but it's the problem on the other side as well in terms of doing something like this in the first place. A lack of power in a man's head driving him towards primal sexual monkey dominance. Masculinity creates wars. Femininity doesn't create wars. What women do we know have created wars, invaded other countries? Well, Thatcher in Argentina, but she had a big iron cock. I'm absolutely Mistake number 2. I thought that if I stayed silent and kept it to myself, did enough exercise, went out every morning and I ran, and I ate the right food, and I read the right books, and I meditated, that one day I'd wake up and the monkey wouldn't be there anymore. It'd be like a bad breakup. But I come to realize that this is always...
That reminds me, Mel, of Candace Wells. Candace Wells admittedly said that she began dressing like a man to not attract men. That happens, absolutely, and it's horrific. Oh, thank you so much, Miss L. I've locked myself out of my PayPal. Oh, that's okay. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I thought we'd just switch it up a little bit. We'll get back to our normal on track, but felt like this was important.
It's going to be a part of my life. The monkey's always going to be there. And instead of fighting against him, I now need to learn to work with him. And that goes 2 ways. He needs to learn to work with me too. For example, he did not want me to do this show. He did not want me to do this show. He was worried people would judge. He was worried I'd tell it wrong. He was worried that people would think I was making up. He was worried that people from my school would come down. He was worried that people who came to see Waiting for Gadot will come and see this and think, what the flying fuck is he doing? But I had to do it. I had to. And ever since I started doing it, that monkey voice has got that little bit quieter, a little bit smaller, a little bit less aggressive. All the important people in my life know inner judgment has been replaced with conversation, silence.
Which is amazing that he was able to open this up to those closest to him and not feel so alone.
With acceptance. And I think of all those tight chests I could have saved. All that running to forget. All the endless therapy. Had I just spoken about it sooner. Sometimes the thought of something can be scarier than the thing itself. The third mistake was putting this show in the comedy section.
So that was the real video of Donnie Dunn having a breakdown, which is really Richard Gadd. I think it was absolutely an amazing show. I think it touched on so many things in such a beautifully executed way. It's mental health, it's rape, sexuality. It just had drugs, addiction, disconnection, struggling, financial problems, depression, you name it. The series, 7-episode series, touched on so many real life issues, so many real life situations. There's a part in that show that can touch every single one of us. There is an episode, there is a description, there is a scenario that can hit every single one of us, which is why I believe the show became such a trending top 10 series. It made us look at things in a way that normally we wouldn't. It gave us an inside look into the minds of people that maybe we couldn't before. It showed us how to have empathy as well as accountability. I couldn't recommend this show enough. Like I said, I know episode 3 is very triggering to people, but unfortunately it is realistic. And as we just heard Gadd say, there is this stigma on men victims. Rather, as a victim of DV, as a victim of SA, there's this stigma placed on it. I was listening to a YouTuber the other night, and he was having a debate with somebody. And he said, as a man, if a woman hit you, would you call that domestic violence? And of course, right away, they were both like, no, da, da, da. Well, yes, men can be and are victims of domestic violence. It doesn't make you any less manly, because the guy's next answer was, right, because as a man, you'd be a bitch to say that. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. And we need to stop this whole masculinity, this whole weird, putting people in boxes. If there's one thing this show showed, is that there is no one box for anybody. And we go through the emotions with him of figuring out how to get himself outside of this box and accept the fact that he did experience these things. He is now these things. And how does he embrace these things? And I'm so, for me, I'm so happy to see Richard Gadd so happy today. As for Fiona, bless it, I don't know. But for Richard Gadd, I am glad that he found his way of dealing with that and overcoming it. Nina, thank you so much. Thanks for covering this. It was truly impactful, true story that shows the world is not black and white. Kudos to Richard Gadd for picking himself up to tell his story in such a raw and honest way. Amen. The case of Alex Steele. Alex Skeel. I never even heard of that. My son got beat by his girlfriend and she broke her finger hitting him, and the police got called and took him to jail. Yeah. Hijab is horrible. There was this, believe it was out of Britain, this story of this he was a young adult. Maybe this is him. Let me look. This young adult that was being abused. Victim of DV, and he was scared. It is him. You're right, Mel. That's exactly the guy I'm thinking of. If you've never seen this, if you haven't heard about his story, go check it out. It is horrific. He was a victim of domestic violence. He was left to die. He almost died. Signed iPhone? Anyway, I appreciate you all being here. If you haven't, please hit the thumbs up. I got some running about to do and some things to do, but I felt like this was incredibly important. And if you have not watched the series yet, please do. I will get a hold of CJ. Maybe we'll do a part 2 to all of this and talk about it further. So some of you in the chat here can get some time to watch it. All right. Really, though, I wish everybody would watch it and learn to, I don't know, treat people with compassion. There's no reason why anybody, especially through YouTube, hates somebody that they've never met in real life to the point that some of these people on here do. We all have traumas. We all have life experiences. We all have reasons for being who and what we are. Disliking somebody isn't an excuse for the abuse that a lot of people do on here. It's just not. Let's stop dehumanizing people and realize there's a lot of different personalities here. And, I don't know. Me too, Cece. I'm going to go work in my garden as well. I got to go buy soil. I hope you all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Be safe. And remember, be compassionate. Even to the assholes. I know. I'll see you all later. Thank you for being here.